Hey there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend, and in tonight's video I'm going to be doing another Bookie Babe book review for my Bookie Babe series, and this book marks number 12 in my 15 read challenge, my 15 book challenge, and I only have 3 books left. That's so exciting, and I'm almost halfway through book number 13 right now, so I'm definitely going to meet the challenge, and it makes me feel so good, so accomplished, and the book club is really helping. And so I'm sure I'll talk about that more in some other videos. But before we get into tonight's video, if you're new here, make sure you hit that red button and subscribe. Comment below what you would like me to read next, because I'm trying to come up with a list of things that the book club might read or that I want to add to my list. And I already know the next 2 books that I'm going to read, no, the next 3 books that I'm going to read, so, but I'm taking recommendations for the next top 5. I'm going to be interested to see how many books I read this year, to help gauge my reading challenge for next year. But anyway, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and you can scroll up and down and see all of my latest videos and reviews. I have put a lot of book reviews on here lately, so make sure you go check those out, and I promise movie reviews are coming soon. I still have probably 20 some to update for you guys, so it just takes a long time for me to get them uploaded, so they are coming very soon. So without further ado, let's get into tonight's video. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing The Lost Apothecary. This book is written by Sarah Penner. We actually just met about this book tonight for a book club, and I did finish this one on time, so I did not... Evelyn Hugo, I was not quite finished with when we met for book club. I finished it after, but this one I actually read all of and had finished, like, it was like a week or 2 weeks ago. I think I finished it the day that I was sick. So, we are going to discuss it. Hold on, I just dropped something. So, anyway, ignore that. Let's get into it. So, this book has definitely spooky vibes. So, if you are looking for a spooky read or a book to give you spooky vibes, this one definitely does. It's set in, like, late 1700s London. Oh my gosh. So, like, 18th century. So there's a little bit of history to it. It is coined, it proclaims itself, or Cosmopolitan proclaimed it as like a feminist type book. So, and it definitely checks that. And the story is told through 2 different perspectives. I cannot talk tonight. 2 different perspectives, one present day, one in 1790. And the 1790 is this apothecary named Nella, and her, like, it's just a few days, like her last few days as an apothecary. And then the present day is Caroline, and she is on a trip to London that was supposed to be an anniversary trip, but she is no longer the happy married woman. She discovers some ugly truths about her marriage and discovers a lot about herself when she goes on this trip to London. But the trip also helps her uncover this hidden mystery of a place, which was the apothecary. So they are tied in to each other 200 years apart, and Caroline is living this present day manifestation of Nella's life in 1791. And it is, like I said, it gives me the spooky vibes. There's, like, poisons and potions, and it definitely gives you, like, witchy, spooky vibes, which I loved. Drew me in right away. And it does have very strong, like, feminist undertones, the power of, like, female friendships, and how to stand up for yourself in relationships, revenge, vengeance, like, all of those things that make a really good, like, revenge story are in this. And just some fun, kind of, you know, there's another character in the novel, Eliza, who's younger, so she's, like, going through puberty and, like, getting her menstrual cycle for the first time, and, like, all of that is kind of interesting to read, like, from the perspective of an innocent girl who doesn't know, and the naivete and all of that is kind of interesting to kind of watch her walk through that and discover that. But yeah. Overall, I did not read this one as fast as Evelyn Hugo for multiple reasons. Evelyn Hugo, obviously, I was on a bit of a timeline. This one, I definitely gave myself way more time, but this one did have a couple of slower parts in it. it started off really strong. I was like really intrigued, and then it kind of tapered off, and then the last like 100 to 150 pages really picked up. Particularly the last few chapters are really, really enticing. The chapters are very short, which I like. It makes it very easy to read, and the print in the standard version is decent, so I didn't feel like I was struggling to read it. It's pretty standard print, wasn't too difficult, and it reads pretty quickly in terms of chapters and things like that. And the perspectives were easy to keep track of. I wasn't lost in the story or the connection. Goodness. There are some twists and turns and some unexpected things, especially toward the ending. And the endings were kind of shocking for all three of the major characters in the novel. And I don't know if I was overly thrilled with the endings. And I think a big critique is that this story kind of sounds like it could be a true story, and then at the end it's kind of like, and it's kind of ruined at the very, very end with what Caroline discovers, like, as the final connection and the final piece to her puzzle. It doesn't really make sense with this, like, to make it a realistic story. So overall, I give this book, like, maybe a 6 out of 10. On Goodreads, I rated it a 4 out of 5 simply because I did lose interest a little bit, and it did not keep, I didn't, like, read it as quickly as Evelyn Hugo, so comparing those two, since both of these were book club novels, it was a good book, a very solid book. I liked the spooky vibes, definitely made me, like, ready for spooky season, definitely had a little bit of, like I said, witchy sort of feels, which I like that. But it was a little bit slow, and I don't know if it was exactly what I was expecting, which is sometimes good, but I get kind of my hopes up high when I read sometimes. And yeah, I think the ending was a little fantastical and not super realistic. I don't know. But the book I don't know. It was interesting, though. And the history piece was cool. Like I said, this book kind of sounded like it could be based on a true story, based on the history and everything. So, I think overall, the women in book club all liked it, said it was good, but I think everybody was kind of on the same page. Like, nobody really rated this one 5 stars. But I also wanted to point out the cover. I think the cover is really beautiful, and some of the covers actually have, like, embossed lettering, and so this is all shiny and shimmery, and it was really cool to look at the different styles of the books tonight when everybody had them all out. Sarah Penner, we found out, does have another novel called The London Seance Society, I think, so kind of a similar vibe. I'd be intrigued to read that one, even though it doesn't tie in to this one. I would say this book is not for kids. This is an adult book all the way. It's not a young adult novel, so keep that in mind. And not because of language or anything like that, but just some very, like, adult trauma themes, adult loss, grief, infidelity, all of, like, I mean, she's an apothecary, and I mentioned poisons earlier, so maybe you can read between the lines in what I'm saying there, without me saying that this video has spoilers. So definitely adult, definitely a good, like, women supporting women book, and, like, feminist women forward book. So yeah, if that's your vibe, then The Lost Apothecary is for you. And I did like the vibe of this book. Like I said, it did have a couple, like, I did taper off in interest just a little bit. It took me a little bit longer to find the motivation to finish it, which is why I'm glad I gave myself time. Oh, and the page length overall is just over 300 pages. There is a cool little, like, recipe kind of book in the back, and it's 316 with book club discussion questions, and I purchased my copy on Amazon. So that's it. That's the review. And I am, like I said, almost halfway through book number 13 right now. And so we are definitely going to finish this challenge. And I thank you all so much for being on this journey with me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. And until next time, bye-bye.